The hallowed halls of the Dimera mansion have long been a crucible for secrets, betrayals, and earth-shattering revelations. For decades, this storied estate has stood as a monument to the tangled web of power, passion, and pain that defines the Dimera legacy. Yet, on a seemingly ordinary evening, the air grew thick with a different kind of tension, a moment so visceral, so haunting, that it would unravel one of the most shocking truths in the family's history. This is the story of E.J. Dimera, a man whose life was forever altered by a single, devastating gunshot and the unthinkable discovery of the person who pulled the trigger. Welcome to TV Day's Drama Digest, where we peel back the layers of this unforgettable saga, diving deep into the heart of a mystery that left us all reeling. A nightmarish flashback. The evening began like so many others in the opulent Dimera mansion, where crystal chandeliers cast their golden glow over polished marble floors and whispered secrets lingered in every shadow. E.J. Dimera, the charismatic and calculating heir to the Dimera Empire, stood in the grand parlor, his mind preoccupied with the weight of his responsibilities. The world outside was quiet, but within these walls, the past was always restless, waiting for the right moment to claw its way back to the surface. It was Rachel, EJ's young niece, who unknowingly set the stage for the unraveling of a nightmare. A precocious child with an innocent smile and a penchant for mischief, Rachel was playing in the parlor, her small hands clutching a decorative crystal ball, a glittering orb that had adorned the mansion for generations. It was a relic of the Dimera family's opulence, its facets catching the light in a mesmerizing dance of color. Rachel, caught up in her game, tossed the ball into the air, her laughter echoing through the room. But in an instant, her playful toss went awry. The crystal ball slipped from her grasp, plummeting to the hardwood floor with a sound that shattered the silence, a sharp, explosive crack that reverberated like a gunshot. For most, the sound might have been a fleeting annoyance, a momentary disruption in the evening's calm. But for EJ, it was something else entirely. The noise pierced through the veil of his consciousness, dragging him back to a night he had fought so hard to forget. His body froze, his breath caught in his throat, and his eyes widened with a terror that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The room around him dissolved, replaced by a flood of fragmented memories, flashes of darkness, the glint of steel, the deafening roar of a gunshot, and the searing pain that had torn through his body. EJ staggered, clutching the edge of a nearby table as the world spun around him. The flashback was merciless, pulling him into the abyss of that fateful night. He could feel the cold pavement beneath him, the warmth of his own blood seeping through his shirt, the distant wail of sirens growing fainter as his vision blurred. And then, in the chaos of his mind, a face emerged, a face so familiar, so impossibly young, that it defied comprehension. It was Rachel, his niece, the child he had doted on, the girl he had seen as a beacon of innocence in the murky world of the Dimeras. She was holding a gun, her small hands trembling, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and confusion. The unthinkable truth. The revelation hit EJ like a freight train. Rachel, sweet, mischievous Rachel, was the one who had shot him. The memory was no longer a vague shadow. It was vivid, undeniable, and utterly devastating. He could see it all now. The dimly lit alley behind the mansion, the argument that had spiraled out of control, the glint of the gun in Rachel's hands. How had it come to this? How had a child, barely old enough to understand the weight of her actions, become the instrument of such violence? As the flashback receded, EJ found himself back in the parlor, the crystal ball lying shattered at Rachel's feet. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with concern, unaware of the storm she had unwittingly unleashed. "Uncle EJ, are you okay?" she asked, her voice trembling with the innocence of youth. But EJ couldn't answer. His mind was a battlefield, torn between love for his niece and the horrifying truth of what she had done. The Dimera mansion, once a place of refuge, now felt like a prison of memories. EJ's heart pounded as he pieced together the fragments of that night. It had been a chaotic evening, one filled with the usual DiMera family tensions. An argument had erupted over what EJ could scarcely remember now. Perhaps it was about power or money or the endless cycle of betrayals that defined their lineage. Rachel, ever curious, had been in the wrong place at the wrong time, stumbling upon a scene she was too young to comprehend. A gun, left carelessly within reach, had become her unwitting tool of destruction. In a moment of fear or confusion, she had pulled the trigger, and EJ had paid the price. The realization was a knife to the heart. EJ had spent months recovering from the gunshot wound, his body mending while his mind remained shrouded in fog. The doctors had warned him that the trauma might have suppressed his memories, locking away the truth until his psyche was ready to confront it. And now, triggered by the innocuous sound of a breaking crystal ball, the truth had come rushing back, raw and unrelenting. A family fractured. The implications of this revelation were staggering. How could EJ face Rachel now, knowing what she had done? How could he look into her eyes, so full of trust and love, and see the face of the person who had nearly ended his life? And what of the DiMera family? This was no ordinary scandal. This was a fracture that could tear them apart. The idea of a child wielding a gun was not just tragic, it was a chilling indictment of the world they had created, a world where innocence could be corrupted by the very air they breathed. EJ's thoughts turned to Rachel's parents, Kristen and Brady, whose own tumultuous relationship had long been a source of drama in the DiMera saga. Kristen, with her fiery temper and ruthless ambition, had always been a wild card, while Brady's attempts to shield Rachel from the family's darkness had often fallen short. Had they known? Had they suspected that their daughter was capable of such an act? The questions gnawed at EJ, each one a fresh wound in his already battered heart. As the days passed, EJ grappled with his emotions. He couldn't bring himself to confront Rachel, not yet. She was just a child, after all, caught in a moment she likely didn't fully understand. The gun had been someone else's, a careless mistake, a reckless oversight. But whose? The DiMeras were no strangers to firearms. Their world was one of danger and deception, where weapons were as common as secrets. EJ's mind raced with possibilities, each one more disturbing than the last. Had someone manipulated Rachel, using her as a pawn in a larger game? Or was it simply a tragic accident, a convergence of bad decisions and worse luck? The weight of silence. For now, EJ chose silence. He couldn't bear to shatter Rachel's world, nor could he face the fallout of exposing the truth to the rest of the family. The DiMeras were a house of cards, held together by fragile alliances and unspoken agreements. To reveal that Rachel had shot him would be to invite chaos, accusations, recriminations, and perhaps even vengeance. EJ had seen what happened when the family turned on itself. He had no desire to ignite that fire. Yet the silence came at a cost. Every time EJ saw Rachel, his heart ached with a mixture of love and betrayal. He watched her play, her laughter filling the mansion, and wondered how such a small, fragile creature could carry the weight of such a dark secret. He wondered, too, about himself. Could he forgive her? Could he move past the pain and rebuild the bond they had once shared? Or would the memory of that night forever taint their relationship, a shadow that neither time nor love could erase? The crystal ball, now shattered, became a symbol of the broken trust within the DiMera family. It was a reminder that even the most beautiful things could be destroyed in an instant, leaving only fragments to be pieced together. EJ found himself returning to the parlor, staring at the spot where the ball had fallen, as if the answers to his questions might be hidden among the shards. But there were no easy answers, no neat resolutions. This was the DiMera way, messy, painful, and unrelentingly human. A story that divides. At TV Day's Drama Digest, we've seen our share of shocking twists, but this one hits differently. The idea of Rachel, a child, pulling the trigger is a gut punch that leaves us questioning everything we thought we knew about the DiMeras. It's a storyline that's as unsettling as it is compelling, forcing us to confront the darker corners of human nature. We can't help but feel a pang of disappointment, though. A child with a gun? It's a trope that feels almost too grim, too far removed from the soap opera glamour we've come to expect. We had hoped for a different culprit, perhaps a scheming rival, a jilted lover, or even a long-lost DiMera sibling. But the writers chose a path that's raw, real, and deeply uncomfortable, and we have to respect the boldness of that choice, even if it leaves us uneasy. What makes this story so gripping is its exploration of trauma and memory. EJ's flashback, triggered by something as simple as a falling crystal ball, is a testament to the power of the human mind to bury and unearth its deepest wounds. It's a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for the right moment to demand reckoning. For EJ, that reckoning is both a curse and a catalyst, forcing him to confront not just Rachel's actions, but the very nature of the DiMera legacy. Your voice matters. So, what do you think, TV Days Drama Digest fans? How do you feel about this jaw-dropping revelation? Are you as shaken as we are by the idea of Rachel as the shooter? Do you think EJ can ever forgive her, or will this secret tear the DiMera family apart? And what about the bigger picture? Does this storyline push the boundaries of drama too far, or is it a brave new chapter in the DiMera saga? Drop your thoughts in the comments below or hit us up on social media. We're dying to hear your take on this unforgettable twist. As we close this chapter of TV Days Drama Digest, we're left with more questions than answers. The DiMera mansion, with its glittering chandeliers and shadowed corners, remains a stage for the eternal dance of love, betrayal, and redemption. For EJ, the road ahead is uncertain, paved with pain and the promise of hard-won truths. But one thing is clear: the shot that rang out in that alley and the crystal ball that shattered in the parlor have changed everything. The DiMeras will never be the same, and neither will we. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days